Hello and good evening, our beloved viewers. It's 9 p.m. You are watching on live RTD channel. Welcome to this English news edition. Here are the top stories. The head of state continues his tour of the interior region. Suspension of the international flights held concerning the coronavirus. Spain, the coronavirus interns near the quarantine. Those were the headlines. Thanks for joining us in our newsroom. The President of the Republic continues his outrage tour outside the capital. He visited today the northern regions and first stage Tajora. The head of state, His Excellency Ismail Margele, was greeted on his arrival by helicopters by local authorities, including Prefect Hassan Dabale, the President of the Regional Council Omar Hussein, and the Mr. Ahmed Sheikh, members of the government, including Defense Minister Hassan Umar Mohammed, Foreign Minister Mohammed Ali Yusuf, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Margele, was also greeted by the population of the region, who came out in the large numbers to express their attachment to the head of state. The president were overlooking the prefecture flag in hand of banners. The Tajurian welcomes the Djibouti members, Ismail Margile. As in previous region, the aim of this meeting with the President of the Republic is to exchange views, discussing and consult with a view to strengthening the development of the region in order to measure the impact of socio-economic policy and improve the standard of living of their population. It is therefore a question for the head of state to record directly and without the intermediary of the notables the aspiration of his compatriot in the interior region for the purpose of possible refocusing and adoption of policies in accordance with their real and legitimate needs. On his arrival at the meeting place, the President of the Republic first passed in front of various stands set up at the entrance of prefecture by different agricultural and craft associations of the region. The association and individuals who exhibited their product and the harvest on the occasion of the visit of the head of state. Among the students were the exhibition of a product from the agricultural area, which is also a training center for the farmers of the region. Last stand visit by the President of the Republic, that of Women's Association of Tajora. It showed its know-how in the field of traditional art and traditional craft. The association, made up of women, help create the condition for crazes for the craft work and renewal of traditional craft practices. These handicraft objects present to the head of state, which have been carefully crafted and constitute not only an important cultural heritage but also for some women an income generating activity. The popular reception with all the representative of the population of Tajora from all the localities, followed by the visit of the agricultural production stand from the cooperatives located instead of Mabla, Wema, Randa and Godar. A session of exchange was organized in a larger tent set up in front of the prefecture of Tajora between the President Gele and the community leaders of all categories and ages. Welcome with a stand ovation in the tent. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Margile, thanked the audience for his warm welcome. The President Gele specified that it is decided to visit the different region for close meeting with the population of the region. Today, said the president, we are in Tajora, the second capital of Tajora, in order to discuss and share with the population about the situation in Tajora region. This meeting of proximity will take place on two sides today in Tajora and in another side in the sub-prefecture of Dora. We are with all the representative of the young people, the wise men, the intellectual, the religious leader, the customary chief, including the entire regional civil society, to see the current situation in the region, to see the current movement of the Jura strengthened correct of refocusing on our action always within the framework of creating development opportunities and improving the living condition of our population in the region. The President of the Republic stated that the exchange will be direct without intermediary, and the grievance raised will be deal with directly will be deal and listen to carefully with quick answer. Other will be treated with a guarantee of answer.
waxa uu doonayo, waxa uu diidayo, waxa uu leeyahay hal nala qabto intaba ayaan halkan u fadhiyaa. Waxaan rajaynayaa in si furan oo daacada inaan u wada hadalno.
The Tajura population in turn hosted the President Gile's civic debate with his compatriots from the interior region. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Margile, this Sunday dedicate a new edition for the fourth of panel of these citizens is a debate he held with his compatriots from the interior region to the city of Tajura. Let's listen for more details.
Exchange between the President and the representatives of the population of Tajora were intense and rich and focused on the development of tourism, the promotion of women, entrepreneurship, sustainable development in rural areas, the opening up of the health sector. The first speaker, Mr. Musa Wale, manager of the Corto Maltese Hotel, spoke about the development of tourism, a promising sector with great potential. He said that the Tajora region is an attractive tourist area with beautiful beaches and high mountainous areas. We request, said Musa Awale, that in order to develop the tourism sector, we want you to undertake actions to improve access to areas suitable for tourism. Our training courses are aimed at strengthening the capacities of young people in Tajora in order to take advantage of all the potentials. Moreover, we can see that for the promotion it is necessary to find solutions for the high cost of energy. Finally, Mr. Musa Awali congratulated the President for his political vision based on development and the preservation of peace, which is the basis of all development. In his reply, President Gelle congratulated Mr. Musa for all his initiatives which have given good results. The development of tourism is a priority for the government, and the Tajora region has considerable potential in this area. With the participation of the population of Tajora, the development of tourism will be an important effort to start a new dynamism in this region. This will create opportunities for employment, especially for young people. The President announced that the government is on the right track on the road to development. In addition, several commercial activities can be developed around tourism.
In the second part of a question and answer during the session between the President of the Republic and the population of Tajura, pioneers in the sustainable development and solidarity tourism said and took the floor. He said for more details in this report.
Part of questions and answers during the session between the President and the population of Tajura, a pioneer in sustainable development and solidarity tourism, Mr. Dawood Ahmed, and a pioneer woman in agro-tourism took the floor. Mr. Dawood Ahmed, being disabled and the winner of the prize, requested on behalf of the Dugum community the support for the President of the promotion of ecotourism and environment and the means of transfer to promote the sale of Dugum cheeses.
hoggaanka runtii kaawi urur dhan tuulo iyo wixii hareeraheegaba nolol cusub nolol isku filan dadaal aanan uu kelidii galay baan u malaynayaa ninkaasi.
The President congratulated him for his perseverance in development for the good of his community and pioneers like Dawood who can guide rural communities on the path to development. The President promised rolling stock to transport Dugum's fromage to the local markets or to the capital. He also praised the efforts of the Dugum community under the leadership of Dawood, who, even though he is disabled, is a guide to sustainable local development. When Mrs. Amina Aden took the floor to ask for the realization of educational structures between Tajura and Rwanda, a length of 35 kilometers, she requested the strengthening of the capacities of the marketing channels for agricultural products from Ardo and Bankwale.
hooyo avocado wanaagsan ayaad noqotay oo yani gacantaydan ku qodaynay tiri 30 mitir oo biyaan ka helay.
The President announced that at a time when the students travel tens of kilometers to learn, we will do everything possible to fill the void in educational infrastructures in this country. It is promised to support the agricultural production of the Ardo and Bankwale sector with a significant protection every year.
The third part of the question and answer between the President Gele and the representative of the population always concerned the agro-pastoral in the Weimar region, especially in the Fenetu, Girori, and the problems opening up between Rwanda and Dai forest. For more details in this report.
Third part of the questions and answers between President Gele and the representative of the population always concerned agro-pastoralism in the Weimar region, especially the problem of opening up between Rwanda and Dai. Mr. Ismail Humad, a pioneer in agro-pastoralism, asked for support in the rehabilitation of the agricultural parameters of the Weimar sector and added a question for Mr. Hassan Ali Harsa, who pleaded for the rehabilitation of the old road between Rwanda and Dai. The President was surprised that the Weimar region is asking for training in agro-pastoralism, even though they are at the forefront in this field, but he promised to support them by asking them to persevere in supplying the markets with market garden productions. When on the road, the President said that there is a choice to make in Djibouti. People talk to us and ask us that the Garnale road to go because it's closer, and when we are in Tajora and Rwanda, the road is closer by Rwanda. Nevertheless, we have in construction the Weimar Road construction, which works are started, but we will reflect because the construction of the road requires a lot of financial means, but we will persevere to improve the road access to the interior of the region.
Finally, the exchange between the President and the representative of the community were intense, varied, and rich also on the subject of entrepreneurship. Details in this report.
Qui a bénéficié de projets ProPéja dans la région de Tadjoura.
The exchange between the President and the representative of the communities were intense, varied, and rich, also concerning entrepreneurship. Thus, a young graduate with a baccalaureate degree in biology and biochemistry, and a young entrepreneur.
À travers mon engagement dans l'entrepreneuriat, je représente cette jeunesse qui a décidé de créer de l'emploi pour nos concitoyens.
Hassan Mohammed Hassan, who started in commerce, asked the President on behalf of the young girls with diplomas and young people who want to become established in entrepreneurship. They wish to have access to funding for youth systems in the region.
Votre volonté de sortir de la précarité, votre désir de bénéficier ou alors d'exploiter votre savoir, et la jeunesse qui fait du leadership est beaucoup plus important pour moi que ceux qui cherchent seulement un petit emploi.
The president appreciated the initiative and willingness of the young people in Tajura to succeed in entrepreneurship and promised the support of institutions such as the Development Fund in the support to access the Guarantee Fund. A young student from Tajura asked the president to support her family in its precarious situation, but the president advised her to finish her studies first and promised her support until the end of her studies.
After the debate interview in this morning with the President Gele and the representative symbols of a population of the Jura region, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Margili, reserved in the afternoon to discuss with the wise men and the ocals of the region. The President and the wise men exchanges directly without intermediary on the situation in the region, the progress record in various socio-economic files, as well as the difficulties that Tajura is experiencing. The question on the accounts revolve around the unemployment, agricultural, health, road, and others. Furthermore, the situation of the education was widely raised during the meeting, especially in remote areas. After listening to the wise men and the ocals of the region, the head of the state answered that question on one by one. The other important information that we have for you tonight is the measure taken by the government in the face of the tweet posted by the coronavirus, which is and in the region, in other words, in Ethiopia and Kenya. But before that, this morning, the Minister of Health shared a crisis meeting of the enlarging committee for coordination against the coronavirus to take stock of the strengthening of the prevention and response mechanism to the coronavirus epidemic. The meeting was attended by the Secretary General of Health, Dr. Salah Banoita Turab, senior staff of the Secretarial Department, technical and financial partners, and the representative of all the constitutions. Following the declaration of the confirmed cases in neighboring countries, the Minister of Health, Mr. Mohamed Warsama Dirie, has called for increased vigilance, increasing the manpower at the checkpoints and the wide general disseminations of the preventive measure against the spread of coronavirus. For more details, let's listen.
Alors que l'Organisation mondiale de la santé qualifie désormais l'épidémie de COVID-19 de pandémie,
while the World Health Organization now calls the COVID-19 epidemic a good case of dementia, no suspected cases of coronavirus infection have been detected in our country. However, the evolution of the health situation in the world, and in particular in the sub-region, with the appearance of the first cases in Ethiopia and Kenya, requires strengthening and increasing in the power of the national system of preparation, prevention, and response. This is why the government, on the proposal of the Crisis Committee, has decided to suspend international passenger flights departing and arriving at the international Humbuli Airport until further notice. Surveillance measures has also been stepped up at land and sea entry points. The currently active arrangements are based on multi-sectoral coordination involving several ministerial departments in preparation for the proper demobilization of COVID-19, but also the para-public sector, constituted bodies, and the broader international partners of the health sectors of Crisis Committee for the monitoring of the national, sub-regional and international situation which are based on technical committee in charge of setting up responsive mechanisms. An operational plan for the preparation and response to COVID-19 drawn up in collaboration with all partners in the health sector. Sites detected to quarantine and care at the former Bufad and the Arta hospitals. Telephone line 1517 is ready to answer all questions and concerns of general public about COVID-19. This arrangement was evaluated during a simulation exercise conducted by the Ministry of Health last week in the presence of the UN organization's partners, in particular WHO, with whom we are working in the straightforward way. This type of exercise will be expanded and repeated at other gateways. We are working around the clock, and we will continue to ensure that we have the necessary capacity for prevention, diagnosis, and care. Finally, we are asking the population to support our efforts by ensuring that the strict health recommendations issued by the Ministry of Health, in particular, should be followed. By applying barrier measures that constitute protection whose effectiveness has been proved in the fight against the contamination. We pray that the Almighty God preserves our country from this epidemic. Amen. Thank you for your attention.
An Ethiopian delegation led by the Ethiopian Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Usman Hussein, was received yesterday by the Director General of Port and the PDSA, Mr. Jama Ibrahim, Director of the General Director of Port of PDSA, the Director responsible for port, including notably the DMP Director Wahib Dahir and the DMP Commercial Manager, notably Mr. Mustafa Idris Noor. On their arrival, the delegation followed a presentation of the activities of the port made by Mr. Wahib Dair. Then the delegation visited the port facilities on the spot of listen to the explanation of the directors. Let's bear in mind that the DMP made a performance of unloading without precedent. Indeed, on this point, Mr. Jama Ibrahim has held congratulate for the person in charge and the employees of the port of DMP for this performance of unloading in a lapse of time well inferior to that of preceding years. This is it for this edition. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful evening.